The hunting grounds of Velthara were not meant for humans. The red soil drank blood as freely as rain, and the crystalline trees bore witness to 1,000 generations of predator clans proving their dominance. Here, strength was currency, and weakness was death. Seren Hale should not have survived her first week, yet 3 solar cycles had passed since the human healer arrived, and she walked among beasts that could tear Durasteel with their claws. The Velthari, massive, leonine creatures with obsidian manes and eyes like molten gold, had watched her with curiosity at first. Then suspicion, then something bordering on respect. She asked for nothing. She demanded nothing. When the elder Varkesh collapsed during the Blood Moon hunt, his heart failing beneath the weight of age and pride, Seren had simply knelt beside him. Her hands, small and fragile by Velthari standards, had pressed against his chest. What happened next defied their understanding of the universe. Light. Not the harsh glare of their twin suns, but something warmer, something that felt like memory and hope woven together. Varkesh's heart had stuttered back to life, and the ancient predator had opened his eyes to see the human's face, calm and unwavering. "You are Pack," he had growled, "the highest honor his kind could bestow." But respect among predators was a thin shield, and the hunting grounds cared nothing for honor. The scream that shattered the evening silence was young and raw, a sound that bypassed reason and struck directly at something primal. Seren's head snapped up from the medicinal herbs she'd been cataloging. Her fingers went cold. She knew that voice, Kale. The cub, barely old enough to join his first hunt, all gangly limbs and oversized paws, still learning to control fangs that could puncture bone. He'd followed her around for weeks, fascinated by the strange human who smelled of strange things and moved without the grace of a predator but somehow belonged anyway. Seren. Rand the Velthari could cross the hunting grounds in mighty leaps. That ate distance like fire-consumed paper. Seren had only her human legs, sturdy but slow. Pathetically slow. She ran anyway, her medical pack bouncing against her hip, her breath burning in her lungs. The second scream was weaker. Dying. She burst through a thicket of razor grass and stopped. The clearing was a tableau of nightmare. Kale lay broken at the base of a cliff, his back twisted at an angle that made Serene's stomach lurch. Blood pooled beneath him, too much blood dark against the red soil. His gold eyes were glazed with pain and fear. Above him, circling, were the Scraith, rivals to the Velthari, serpentine predators with too many teeth and a hatred that burned cold. They'd driven the cub off the cliff. Now they waited for him to die, savoring his suffering. One of them noticed Seren. Its vertical pupils dilated with interest. "The human," it hissed, its translator chip rendering the words in cold, clinical tones. "The pet. Does the pet wish to die with the whelp?" Seren didn't answer. She walked forward. "Seren." Kale's voice was a wet rasp. "Run!" She didn't run. She knelt beside him, her hands already moving, assessing. Shattered spine. Punctured lung. Internal bleeding. By any measure, the cub was dead. The Scraith knew it. The forest knew it. Seren didn't care what the forest knew. "Stay with me, Kale," she whispered. The lead Scraith laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Humans, so soft. So, Seren placed both hands on Kale's broken body and closed her eyes. What happened next would be spoken of in hushed tones for generations. The light that burst from Seren's hands was not gentle. It was fierce, blinding, a star being born in the depths of the hunting grounds. But it was the sound that stopped everything, a harmonic that resonated in bones and blood that spoke to something deeper than consciousness. Every predator within a mile radius froze. The Scraith. The Velthari hunting parties in the distance. The sky serpents in their nests. The burrowing apex predators deep underground. Every creature that had ever killed to survive, every beast that understood the language of fang and claw stopped, because they heard something they'd never heard before. A human. Roaring. Not with voice. With will. With something that transcended species and evolution. It was a declaration written in the fundamental code of the universe. "This one is mine. You will not take him." Beneath her hands, impossible things happened. Bone knitted, tissue regenerated. The punctured lung sealed itself. Kale's twisted spine straightened with audible cracks that should have killed him, but instead returned him to wholeness. The light intensified, and then like a star collapsing, it vanished. Seren sagged, gasping, her face pale but her eyes still burning with determination. Beneath her, Cale drew a shuddering breath. Then another. His eyes cleared. He lived. The lead Scraith stared, its confidence shattered. It had seen prey. It had seen predators. It had never seen this. What are you? It whispered. Seren stood slowly. She was exhausted, trembling, small by every physical measure. But when she looked at the Scraith, it flinched. I am Seren Hale, she said quietly. I am human. And I am Pack. Behind her, Cale rose to his feet, whole and healed. His eyes blazed with something new, not gratitude but recognition, understanding. Humans were not the strongest, not the fastest, not the most savage, but they were the most stubborn. And when they claimed something as theirs, the universe itself bent to honor that claim. The Scraith fled. Across Velthara, in dens and nests and hunting grounds, predators lifted their heads and felt something shift in the natural order. A new apex had emerged, not through fang or claw, through something far more terrifying. Love. Human love, fierce and unyielding, that refused to accept death when it came for those under its protection. Cale pressed his head against Serene's shoulder, and the human healer wrapped her arms around him. Pack, he rumbled. Pack, she agreed. And in the hunting grounds of Velthara, even the predators learned to step carefully around the human who could make the universe listen.